How's it going, everyone? I hope all of you are doing well. My name is Chris. Thank you guys for visiting the channel today. This video is going to be made for anyone who is considering upgrading their MPC One to the MPC Live 2. Basically, I'm going to give you 5 personal reasons to why I feel the upgrade is worth it. But please understand that by no means am I saying that MPC One is a dud. The MPC One is an amazing sampler. In fact, there's a very big thing that the MPC One does a lot better than the MPC Live 2, and we'll discuss that in a moment. The first thing I want to talk about is the operating system. Now, I know what you're asking. You're like, Chris, I don't know if you've realized this, but the operating system is exactly the same. Why would that be a good upgrade? And well, I just want to say thank you for asking that question, Tom from MySpace. The reason why it's a good upgrade is because you don't have to really relearn the machine. Sure, there's a couple shortcuts that don't work on the MPC Live 2 that work on the MPC One. But as far as operating system goes, it's the exact same sequencer, exact same effects, tracks, everything. You don't have to waste any time learning the sampler, especially if you've already spent a lot of time making beats on the MPC One. And I think another reason, which is for me the biggest reason, you don't lose any of your previous work. Any of the beats that you've made on the MPC One could be easily transferred into the MPC Live without an issue. That was something that just didn't happen with the old samplers. That cross-platform capability. Like, I don't think you could run an MPC 4000 beat on an MPC 2500. I mean, I'm not sure if you can, but my assumption is that you probably can't. Now, my second reason, believe it or not, is kind of a reason that I never expected myself talking about, but the pads. The pads on the MPC Live 2 are magnificent. And by no means am I saying that the pads on the MPC One are horrible. Those pads are great, but they are a little bit smaller. Like I mentioned, the MPC One pads are more than enough. They're great. But if you do a lot of finger drumming, if you practice a lot of finger drumming, the bigger the pad, the more comfortable and easier for you to get your hits and your timing a lot more in sync. Now, for example, I don't know if you guys have tried before, but trying to finger drum on something like an Ableton Push 2 or the Push 1, it's possible. It's not impossible. I mean, Stroll Elliott absolutely murders anyone on the Ableton Push 2 in terms of finger drumming and just getting real wild with it. But I mean, most of us who are not as talented as Stroll Elliott would prefer bigger pads. And these bigger pads, I feel like they're a lot thicker than the MPC One, and they feel a lot nicer to me. Maybe it's just like a mental thing. Maybe I'm just imagining it. But I like the pads on the MPC Live 2 better than the ones on the MPC One due to the size and then how much thicker they are. The third reason to why you should do the upgrade is because this device has internal storage. You can basically put a 1 terabyte SSD in your MPC Live 2, save all your sessions, save all your sounds, create projects where you're just creating sound design on the MPC and not ever have to worry about running out of space. That's an upgrade that I plan on doing. I want to do that 1 terabyte SSD upgrade because for me, the more storage, the better. Like, I have a ton of hard drives everywhere. My computer has like 2 SSDs and then 1 2 terabyte. The more storage you have, the less you have to worry about that. And that's one of the things that bothered me about the MPC One. Not only was the internal storage in it so small, it didn't give you an option to do an upgrade. Sure, you can load the SD cards and you connect a hard drive to it, which is cool, but there's just something about carrying less things and having everything all in one box that just seems a little bit more pleasant. Now, my fourth reason for doing the upgrade from the MPC One to the Akai MPC Live 2. I have a feeling that Akai is going to drop different color patterns with the MPC Live 2. And in the long run, those color patterns might be worth some money. Me speaking personally, as I get older, I notice that audio equipment is my passion. It's what I love. I love making music. I love talking about equipment. But I realize that there's certain trends and certain equipment that's appreciating in value. A great example of that is the MPC 3000 LE. Not only are the original MPC 3000s worth some money, but the LEs are worth even more money due to their limited edition and limited quantity. And then on top of the fact that Jay Dilla rocked an MPC 3000 LE, people desire those samplers a lot more. And honestly, I think the MPC Live 2 will get there. Obviously not right now because it just came out, but you know, when we buy equipment, we buy it for the long run. We plan on keeping it for the long run. So what I'm basically trying to say is that think about that. It's a good investment. Not only are you investing in yourself to create better music, but you're also investing in the sense of the equipment appreciating. That's why it's important to make sure you pick the right pieces of equipment. For example, an MPC 2000 XL, back when I started, I think I paid like $300 or something like that for an MPC 2000 XL. Now people are selling them for like $1,000 to $800, which I never thought I'd see the day. Now, an honorable mention before I get into my last and final reason. The honorable mention is kind of like an obvious, and that's the inputs and the outputs. The inputs and the outputs on the MPC Live 2, I mean, what can I say? You have a lot of options. You get a lot of flexibility. All the extra ports, MIDI, ins and outs. Another honorable mention that I would like to say, I don't really want to go into too much detail because it's pretty self-explanatory. Not having to be plugged into the wall is the true definition of standalone. There has never been a sampler to this level that has that capability to this day. So the last and final reason is probably the most obvious reason that received maybe the most criticism. I was very judgmental of this reason, and that is the lovely speaker. There's a video of a guy on YouTube that talks about how the speaker doesn't sound so great, the speaker's not that good, it sucks, etc., etc. Not that it persuaded me, but it didn't really leave a lot of expectation. The speaker's fantastic, sure. It has a little bit of a boost in the low end. Naturally, you're making beats on it, you're making music, so your kick drum might sound a lot fatter through the speaker than what it sounds like when you output it into your DAW or record it into something else. But I wouldn't say that the sound is brittle or anything. It's perfect for music making. It gets the vibe right, it gets you in the right groove, and it's such a pleasure to work with. You don't have to literally carry anything. Carry headphones, you don't have to do any of that. Just carry a cable, maybe to sample, maybe not even that. Have an SD card ready with just a bunch of samples and get to work. There's something about that flexibility that just allows you to be more creative in different environments. It gives you that opportunity to really expand and work on your music and not focus on anything else. And I apologize to Akai because I honestly didn't understand the reason for putting a speaker. I also never realized how useful and usable the speaker actually is. And that is it, everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of this conversation. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with my 5 reasons? If you do or don't, make sure to leave it down in the comment section below. Please like the video for that wacky YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.